David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Just starting first 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Just talk about that stretch, especially since you've been struggling at times earlier. Just what allowed you to lay that groundwork for yesterday's game.
Certainly, I think our guys really made a big objective to come out fast and played a little bit with some tempo early in the game. I thought that was something that, at times we've kind of done as an answer to slow starts, and so we started that way, and I feel like our guys responded really well. And I think just a lot of guys got involved with it. A lot of guys got touches early in the run game, pass game. I thought Dak was just really clean and efficient, good protection, and so it was a good start.
You've been so good in tempo really since you've been here. Is that kind of your default when you hit a stretch where you're struggling to immediately go, okay, let's get into this and see if
yeah, certainly tempo is something we love. I think a lot of these guys, they're used to it. Most guys in the coming out of college most recently, a lot of them have played in tempo, and so it's somewhat more of a comfort level. And so you got to navigate the flow of games. Obviously, tempo has its benefits and downfalls, and at times the flow of the game certainly, if the defense is out there for a long time, the last thing you want to do is go a quick 3 and out. So I think you always got to be aware of the flow of games, but certainly as much as we can, we like to mix it in there and at times weave it throughout all the different personnel groups.
Kellen, Jory Epstein, Yahoo Sports, y'all have talked about wanting to get better on third downs, 9 of 11 yesterday. Take us through what was working, and also Dak said that you had kind of called the offense out earlier in the week. What'd you say?
No, I think it's just third downs. Obviously, something we really needed to grow in, and so certainly we felt like we were really, really close. There's just some missed opportunities, and at the end of the day, there's certain ones that are more advantageous for offense. 3rd and 5, 6 or less. Like you got to knock those out of the park, and above that, you understand what the odds tell you. But I thought our guys did just an excellent job. I thought completion plays, simple plays that Dak just handled really, really well. A couple run opportunities. Obviously, we had the big plays in the short yardage with the sneak that turned into something, and then the Tony just having the phenomenal play on 3rd and 1. So guys did an awesome job.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. How much was this offensive performance something to build on, and does the bye week help or hurt?
Certainly, this is something we got to build on. I think guys have felt like we were close the last few weeks, and so that's frustrating when you don't have the type of performances that you want. And so hopefully this is something that we can build upon. I think it's something that builds confidence. Confidence is real. It's very powerful in football, and so I think our guys are starting to hopefully feel that type of confidence coming out of this thing, and we're just right in the middle of the season, right truly around the midpoint of this thing, and so hopefully it's a bouncing off and take-off opportunity.
John Shaw, The Athletic. With Jalen Tolbert, you got him out there a little bit. He didn't get any touches, but what do you think of how he played in the game, and then what does he have to do where do you want to see him improve the most?
It was great to have Jalen, really have that opportunity without Noah out there. I thought he hopped in there. He handled himself really well. Obviously, he didn't get the targets, but when you watch the film, when you watch his specific routes, I thought he did a nice job. He was certainly available in some pass plays where he ran good routes, and if the progression had worked his way to him, he would have had some touches. So I thought he did a nice job, and that's a huge building opportunity for him to play, close to 30 snaps in the game, and now build off of that, build some confidence because of it. I think it'll be huge for him.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Malik Davis got a little run yesterday. What you think of him after watching tape?
Did a really nice job. That was awesome. First game out there, just handled himself really well. It was just so smooth transition from Tony to him as far as the comfort level of calling the plays, and so credit to him. And we felt very comfortable with him all the way through preseason training camp. We saw the preseason production, and so there's certainly a comfort level when he goes out there that things can keep operating. And even in he had a couple protection things that were good, and so all those other little things that running backs have to do.
So that's the biggest concern when you don't have Zeke is the pass protection. How do you think you guys did protecting Dak?
Did a nice job. Tony had 2 really big blocks. We had a free play where one of the interior defense linemen wasn't accounted for. Because the protection really isn't set, it was a free play, so there's no protection call yet. And so there's a big guy, and Tony took a really good charge, basically. And then one time, a guy kind of got one on Terrence, and he was there and able to clean it up a second time. And so those were awesome. Tony, we saw the run game production, but to have 2 blocks like that was really huge.
Todd Archer with ESPN. When you look at the league, it's spread out and wide receivers and throw it, you guys have a lot of multi-tight ends, 2 tight end, 3 tight end looks. Are you guys taking it back old school, or what's the advantage of those tight end packages?
I think there's a lot of different ways you got to be able to play, and NFL season's long. You can't do it one way. There's a lot of different matchups, challenges, advantages for both sides of the ball. Defense is really good as far as scheming and taking away, primary things. And so we feel really good about some of our bigger stuff. You can run the ball, you can create play action off of it. Certainly that tight end group's created some depth that's been really good for us. And, so we like utilizing all these different personnel groups. I think it's our advantage, when you have to prepare for these different looks that you have to, week in and week out for defenses.
Kellen, some of the guys said in the locker room yesterday that the plays y'all were running, they were expecting the defenses that came, they were happy with how that turned out. I'm sure you're assessing yourself and how you can improve. How did you feel yesterday compared in terms of your play calling?
I think the biggest thing with play calling is when things are kind of on course, and that's credit to these guys. When you call a run and it's an efficient run, when you call a pass and there's completion associated with it, you're able to keep going on script, and that's huge, especially when you want to go tempo. There's nothing more struggling than to throw an incomplete and try to get on the ball in tempo, and so there's a certain flow to this thing that when we're operating that way, everything flows really, really well, and I think our guys, then could anticipate the calls moving forward into each situation that corresponded.
One more, with Dak's runs yesterday, they were productive. He also kind of got stepped on his hand on one of them. I mean, what do you want him to do, and how did yesterday compare to the goal for Dak?
Yeah, he's going to get me in trouble. No, I'm just kidding. I thought the red zone run was really good by him. He's done those in the past, and so he's just a really smart runner. I think in the red zone, he's always done that for as long as he's been here, and so he had the opportunity to pull it. I thought our guys up front, did a great job blocking, leading them, and then we had the QB sneak where he ended up popping out and got 25 yards, and went back to Mississippi State and tried to give a little hand shove, and but those are good runs. I think he's smart about it. He's going to mix in a few of them here and there. He's not going to be the 15 attempt guy, but he's going to get a couple when we need it.
When the offense was kind of struggling by your standards through the first part of the season and the defense was sort of carrying things, were there times that you sat there and thought, man, if we could just get this offense where we've had it before, where I know it could be this, we really could have a team here?
Certainly we felt like there's some growth opportunities for us, and some younger guys going in there playing some situations that maybe we didn't have penciled in there, and I thought our guys have gotten better each week and grown through this process. Guys stepping up when other guys are down. Coop handling a bunch of games when he had his opportunity, and so the biggest thing is we just grow through this. It's a long NFL season. You're gonna have ups and downs, and I thought our guys navigated through that path. That we understood there's a formula that was working, and we kind of grinded out some games. And at the end of the day, we're trying to win football games, and so that's point one, objective one. And if it's some ugly 30-plus rush attempt games where you don't get the production you want, but that gets you the win, that's what we need to do.
You were talking earlier about how confidence is very real, and then just a second ago you were talking about how the players would actually anticipate a call when you keep going. How do those two play off of each other, and how is that maybe unique to offense and not really, you don't hear as much about on defense?
I think on offense, you're trying to get as many guys involved. A lot of guys, we got some tremendous players, and we're fortunate to have those guys, and the more guys you get involved in the game, I think, all those guys just feed off each other and work well together. When a receiver catches the ball, and then I think just naturally you have a little more juice to go get that extra block for the running back now, and then the running back's going to help the receiver, and all these guys tie together. And I think that's the secret sauce to when it's going. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's in it together. Everyone's supporting each other. There's no, individualism associated with it. We'll do our best to get everyone involved, and certainly that's what we always want. But our guys have just done a tremendous job, and I think that's hopefully a launching point moving forward based off this game.
How have you been able to handle everything? Because you lost your starting quarterback, and you didn't have Gallup, and then you lose your starting left tackle for the season. Then you lose Zeke. So how have you been able to kind of put this puzzle together each week?
Yeah, I think that's the credit to our guys and the beauty of what the NFL is, that everyone's going to go through this. There's not going to be a perfect you don't get the same 11 week in and week out. That's just pretty much facts in the NFL. You're going to have to navigate some things and go through that process. And then guys are going to get opportunities to take advantage of those moments, like Coop, like Malik popping in there today, and the receivers, and Tyler Smith popping in at left tackle. We've had guys take advantage of these opportunities, and I think that's the coolest part. And so, you're going to play a lot of games, a lot of different styles. We're going to play in some, grinded out games. We're going to play in some games where we got to score some points, play with some tempo, whatever it may be. And so I think it's navigating all these different avenues that an NFL season takes you on.
Do Scott, I know Scott Linehan, you're pretty close to your dad. Did they ever call you and say, son, you're in trouble here, or son, what are you going to do with this?
Certainly, I've been fortunate to be around football really my whole life with my dad and everyone along the way, from college to the NFL. And so certainly there's a lot of people I love connecting with and being a sounding board. And I'm fortunate, I feel like, to have all those people around me, from guys like Scott and Jason, and back to Detroit and all those things, and certainly my dad. And so I'm fortunate to have those people who you can lean on as resources, and certainly there's none better than Mike and Dan and everyone here. So I've been fortunate to be in these situations.
Jory.
Mike has said you can't say that you haven't seen him carried in a game situation now. When you think about his return, his touchdown, can you break that down for us, and did y'all have conversations about it?
It's certainly coming. Fortunately, we're on the bye week, so hopefully it tempers down a little bit. But no, Mike is obviously, we know the athlete he is. I mean, certainly, I think he can be in the NFL as a running back very easily, and so he'll certainly be pleading his case. You can add him into the Tony and Zeke discussion that everyone wants to talk about, and figure out how that all connects. So he's everything we think. He's pretty special.
With Palmer, is there a maximum amount of touches you guys want to get him? Like, even when Zeke doesn't play, still 14, it's the most he's ever had in a game. He's not going above that yet. So.
Yeah, there's certainly kind of a number there that certainly we're always trying to obtain, and the more plays you get in the game, the more opportunities everyone gets. And so that's the one thing for us. We're kind of flirting in that high 50s, low 60s most of the year, and traditionally we're closer to 70. And so certainly tempo, third downs, all the things that go into this, the more opportunities we get there, the more that TP gets a couple extra carries, Zeke gets some, Michael, so on and so forth, get all their touches. And so that's certainly something that we want to try and get more bats to the plate, as we like to say. And so that'll provide everyone more opportunities.
At the end of the half, was it just feeling a little greedy at that point, or how do you look back at it? Because they hadn't stopped you at that point.
Yeah, certainly we felt like with 40 seconds left and in a timeout that, great opportunity to operate a 2-minute drive, and sometimes those things unfortunately happen. Certainly before the half you can go through the play a little bit smarter, all those sorts of aspects, but I think it was a good experience for us, and fortunately for the defense, handled it with getting a 3 points out of that thing, and so that was a huge fortunate thing for us, because obviously they had great field position there, but at times we're going to have to find ways to execute in those situations. So, which we will.
Cause of miscommunication, should City across the front of it?
Yeah, I think it's just not being on the same page necessarily. There's certainly an opportunity there, and they're really close. They hit a number of those during that game, and so those are all learning experiences for all of us.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.